Hey guys, V-Man from No Budget Productions on week 2 of Figure It Out, my customization action figure show. As I said last week, I will be doing mostly the Playmates Star Trek line, but I'll throw in some of the Gloob and my He-Man, my NWO, just different action figures, some Batman. But yeah, this week I will be doing Dr. Julian Bashir in the Star Trek Generations line. Now, uh, this this line of action figures was not very good. The action figures themselves were very stiff. The uniforms were not seen in the movie, and as a kid at the time, it it left me confused among a lot of other people. Um, Star Trek was in full swing at the time. You had a couple waves of action figures. You had, I think you had two full waves. You had the Next Generation crew. You had, I think you had two full waves of that at the time, actually. You had Picard, Riker, Data, Geordi, Worf. Then you had Gowron, a Romulan, a Ferengi, and a Borg. That was in wave 1. Then wave 2, you had season 1 basically variants of the crew. You had Riker, David, Geordi, Worf in their season 1/season 2 costumes. Then you had Locutus Borg, you had Dr. Beverly Crusher, you had Cadet Wesley Crusher, you had Q, and I think that was it for wave 2, if I'm not mistaken. They might have come out with wave 3, I think, maybe. Then around that time they had DS9, a wave of those figures, which had Cisco, Kira, Odo, Bashir, Dax, Cardassian, which was supposed to be Gul Dukat, but it really didn't look like Gul Dukat. I think they had Morn, they had Quark. I mean, I think that was about it. But around that time, you had the Star Trek Generations line. That Christmas, I had received every single one of the Star Trek Generations line, and I still have them to this day. I remember being so excited and yet so disappointed because of how stiff the characters were. And you'll see when I show the character that I used for this, you'll see the fact that the legs and the arms don't bend. I don't know why they went that route, because it's so off-putting when you play with those action figures next to the other ones. It's kind of like, why did you guys go that route? It, like, I don't know if it was I couldn't imagine it would be a matter of money, because Playmates was making a lot of money at the time. So I don't get it. It's very odd. It's kind of like with Star Trek First Contact, why they decided to make those figures huge, as opposed to the 4.5 inch. I think it was like 6 inch. Like the scale is just very off-putting. Like you couldn't put them next to the other action figures and just expect them to go. So it was very off-putting. So it's like, what? So anyway, so here is Dr. Julian Bashir in the Star Trek Generations line. Let me try to. And I will be going through all of these, and forgive, and on all of my action figures, forgive me. The ranks are just like on my fan films. The ranks are not like, I never put ranks on my uniforms because I very seldom have ranks for people, and I'm always trying to go fast on the filming. So on my action figures, the ranks are never going to be accurate. So even though he's got captain rank, forget it. Go worry more about the uniform look. So yeah. So I have bended knees here, which I had to swap those out. And then I have bended arms. And then he's got the look. And I had to repaint the collar. And I tried to match I tried to match it and make it not blue. I tried to make it teal. And it looks very blue here, but it's not. It does match the teal for the action figures. But this is what Dr. Julian Bashir would have looked like if he had had the uniform from Star Trek Generations. So the reason why I did that was I had the parts left over because I was playing at the time. I was playing at the time um, different variations. Um, and I had the body part left over, and I had the heads left over, and I was like, well, let me go see if I can do this. I've got this crew member, I've got this crew member, and let's go ahead and make a Bashir in this uniform. I don't have a doctor, and no offense to no offense to the ladies, but like I don't like having 20 action figures of Beverly Crusher or Troy. I mean, I do, when it's appropriate, but it's like, I'd rather have a Bashir action figure than a Dr. Crusher, Um, so forgive me for the ladies out there like, I want Crusher, but to me, I'd rather make a guy action figure than a girl action figure, so just like guys usually want to play with He-Man more than She-Ra. So I had the parts, and I was like, yeah, I want to make a Bashir action figure. So I did it, and then I got the paint, which is something I usually, like I said last week, it's something that I usually stay away from. So yeah, I did, and yeah, I thought it turned out, pretty okay. So there's the Dr. Julie Bashir. And like I said, the one thing about these lines, and you'll see with my other customizations of the Generations figures, is I did swap out all of their arms for movable, bendable legs and arms. Because that's one thing, I have the bridge action figure set, and I can't have, the non-posable only being able to move at the shoulder joint and the hip joint. That bothers me, or only being able to move at the leg joint, and not at the knees. That really bothers me. Like they need to be posable, or at least posable like this. To me, that's about as much posability as you need, or the least you need for these action figures. And the fact that they didn't even have, they just basically had the shoulder and the leg. That to me was atrocious. So to me, it was not hard. He basically used the same method, the same boiling method as used for the head, and then just put it this way. And I think it makes it look. I mean, I think the uniform itself is a beautiful looking uniform, especially with the blue. Um, you know, I think it's a beautiful looking uniform. I kind of wish we had seen this uh, in Generations with these crew members, and they have a very similar looking uniform on Lower Decks. So I'll give them that, but to see it in this iteration, I really wish we had gotten this. But I mean, we ended up eventually getting the Star Trek First Contact uniforms, which are my favorite. But I do kind of wish we could pop over to that other universe where we got these ones and just kind of see what everything would look like, because we were supposed to get these, and this is what Voyager would have had, and DS9 would have eventually gone to had Generations gone through. But the only type of scene that we had for this was, I think, a 13-second clip of Geordi on the bird of prey, with Soren attacking him or holding him hostage or something, and it's not even a very good clip. And he doesn't even, LeVar Burton doesn't even remember being in this in his engineering uniform of this. So I mean that tells you how much they weren't in this and how much these uniforms just weren't ready to be on screen. But to make this action figure, like I said, I took a Dr. Julian Bashir action figure, which I have all of these carded, and I also have all of these loose. So I took a Dr. Julian Bashir from Wave One of DS9, and I took a Star Trek Generations Picard action figure. And like I said, I took, I used the the posability of the arms from the Dr. Julian Bashir, I think is the one I used. But I basically just swapped out the legs and the arms and the head and put it on the Captain Picard action figure and just did some paint. And with doing something so easy, that fresh coat of paint made everything look just a little bit nicer. Um, so, like I said, something so simple as that really makes a big difference. So, yeah, like I said, I think it, I think it looks, nice. It kind of makes you wonder what if we had gotten these, um, because I think the uniform looks nice. It kind of makes you wonder what if it does look very stiff. you know, um, you can definitely tell the influences from Star Trek 2. Um, the TOS vibe, especially considering in the originals, they had the rank was on the sleeve in Generations. I don't have that on these because, of course, these I never went that far in the detailing. But you have the pips here on the collar, you have the kind of flap down this side, um, and you had the rank on the sleeve, so you could definitely see um, the where they were going as a mix between next gen and TOS and movie Wrath Khan era. So you could see where they were trying to do a mixture of all. Um, at the end of the day, I just don't think that it was good at the time. I think if they had had a little bit more time to get the uniform ready, we would have had a much different uniform than what we got. So anyway, with that being said, see you next week. Be genuine, be safe, keep on geeking on, guys.